working on a new cover for my 44 Creative website. I'm hoping to get the new URL here shortly, so hopefully I'll have both of them, but we'll have to wait and see. In the meantime, I'm going to be doing a printout of my logo, so you get to see a little bit about like what it's like to work in such a tiny space, and then I'm going to be shooting it outside on the ivy, which I'm totally in love with, and I'm so glad it's outside our window. Hopefully it'll come together and make a really nice, interesting cover for our website, and maybe a new back for my business cards because they still have my old last name on it and I'm kind of sick of telling people about it. I am going to show you where I keep most of my miscellaneous design supplies. So I have like my portfolio under there, I have a bunch of extra camera gear under there that I don't use very often, and a lot of it's vintage, so there's not like a day-to-day use for it, but I like to have it because it has its purposes. I also keep things like extra paper under there that's really nice. It's like Nina paper, so I want to try and keep it clean and safe. Also, we have all of our keepsakes from our trip under there in a big box, and I keep our printer under there and a couple other miscellaneous things. I had our Christmas decorations under there for a while, so it holds a lot of stuff, but it's kind of a pain to get to, so you don't want to like have to be getting into it every day, even with the hatch on the end, which does help. But in this case, I have to pull all of the cushions off and everything to get to what we need. So. So I wanted to give you a little bit of background about why we were able to work on the road. I have my own design company that I run on the side, even though I'm looking for a full-time job somewhere, called 44 Creative. I have my logo file open here. This is the logo part that I'm going to be printing and cutting out. You can see it'll work really nicely because it's one single shape, it's all connected. I'm going to split it between two separate pieces of paper so I can print it relatively large, and I'm going to cut it out, and then I'm going to back it with some kind of film core or something. I still need to decide what I want to use and go pick it up, but this will be what I'm printing and hanging up in the ivy for the cover of my website. Alright, so what I've done is I've created an artboard that is the size of two 8.5 by 11 sheets of paper next to each other. I've taken my logo, I've outlined it in light gray so it won't be too obtrusive if I don't do a perfect job cutting it out. You can see that it's really easy form, so I don't have to worry about marking what lines to cut or anything like that. It's connected, so it should be super easy to cut apart. I've split it down the middle, so the two pieces of paper should print right at this break point, which is good because that'll be an easy way to hide it. I'll be able to Photoshop it out if I need to, and it should patch together pretty nicely. I've left it relatively small just so I don't have to try and spread it across too many pieces of paper, and then that way I can do like a video or something of the ivy moving around it, and it'll still look really nice. It won't be like taking up the entire fence because the fence is actually pretty small. It doesn't have a ton of ivy on it. It's just enough to fill the window, which is kind of nice. So what I'm going to do now that I have my printer out is I'm going to hook it up. We don't have it on Wi-Fi yet, so I have to use a wire still, so I'm going to have to dig out the wire. I'll print it out, I'll find my cutting board and my X-Acto blade, and I'll get this cut out. So this is the ivy fence right next to our house that I'm going to be putting my logo up on. I'm not totally sure how I'm going to attach it yet, so I'm going to play with it a little bit and see what I can figure out. Alright, so I ended up going with a pretty standard poster board cardstock. It was a couple bucks from the grocery store. And I just hung it up here on one of these vines with a little clip. And that was enough to keep it up there for a couple minutes. So I've taken my shot of my loop and now I'm going to edit it and hopefully toss it up on my website. I'm also going to take a couple pictures here in a second. But I think it worked out pretty well. Thank you everybody that's tuning in. Make sure to keep leaving your questions in the comments below and I will try and get to them next time. That's it for this week and I'll see you again soon. Bye!